I really hope this I can already see it. If that thing starts hitting that mic, scream at the camera so I know how to change it. Just kidding. What's up, guys? This is SB here. So I want to tell you guys a story. I was in a boutique today checking out a boutique that apparently has been around for years and years and years that I had no clue about. I think the reason I didn't know about them is because they have a history of not being with niche fragrance and have evolved over the last several years to being heavier into niche perfumery because it's a cosmetic boutique. And I knew a lot about fragrances, and I think that was starting to come out in my conversation with some of the sales reps. And so I'm taking my wife around the boutique. We're just looking, because I want to have places I can refer people to locally when they ask, like, where can I get fragrances? This was a great boutique. I'll shout them out on a later video. But um, at the end of the conversation, I said, hey, is there a way that people can be informed when you have new releases or new houses that become available in your boutique? And long story short, she took my phone number down to be able to text me, but she had asked, are you an influencer? And I kind of said no, you know, and I don't even know necessarily why I had that apprehension, but I started to unpack it here in the hotel, and I'll tell you why. Because what I wanted to say in that moment was, I'm not an influencer, but I have influence. Because, when people find out that you're an influencer, like a real influencer, and I don't think I'm a real influencer, I don't have hundreds of thousands of followers. I don't look like or sound like any of your favorite content creators in fragrance. And we're really just getting started. It's a blessing that we're able to do the numbers we do. We're finally in a place now where we're doing like anywhere between 100 and 250,000 views every month, which is crazy, and that's just on one platform. But compared to everybody else, that's guppy talk. So I also don't have any desire to be an influencer. I desire to have influence, but I don't want to be an influencer because I feel like um and some of you smart guys out there are probably going to be like, oh, here's a whole semantics conversation, blah blah blah. But and you can think that, and I understand why, but that's probably where you pause the video and leave, because if you don't have patience with me, you're never going to be able to hear me break things down and get the clarity of where my intent is in bringing up some of this cliche talk. But it's like, labels come with presumptions. Okay. So when these brands find out who the influencers are, they get PR, they get put into a special network of clientele, and they kind of fall into this pipeline system of how the relationship's going to play out. They have a certain budget, a set of free stuff, a set of PR, and a way in which they talk to these people. And I think a lot of times there was a clip I saw the other day where a celebrity was talking about, the problem with meeting a bunch of millionaires is that, you step into a room with a bunch of like prominent people. And unfortunately, everybody's trying to network. It's just a networking hub. And the problem is either when you meet somebody, either they're smaller than you and trying to capitalize off of you for a come up, or you're smaller than them and you're trying to capitalize off of them for a come up. There's a weird sense of like leverage and using people. And in networking, it's absolutely necessary. But I feel like the etiquette and things that we do and say and how we come off and how the relationship looks these days is less authentic and less the product of an authentic relationship being built, and more of just like kind of like a PR kit that brands roll out to influencers. They talk to every influencer the exact same way. They're not interested in depth, they're interested in the exchanging of value, and it's not genuine often, and it doesn't lead to longevity. It just leads to a barter system. Hey, I need your audience. The influencer says, hey, I need your money or I need your free bottles, and that's how it looks. I don't like doing any of that. any relationship that I've built so far in the fragrance industry, whether it be with a boutique owner, a manager, store clerk, a perfumer, my audience, my subscribers, it's all been about not growing this way, but growing this way. Building real connections, real roots, and things like that. So looking back, my hesitation to saying I'm an influencer is number one, just the reality that technically on paper, in general, I am. But compared to what influencers look like in the size of the influencer audiences that these boutiques deal with, I'm definitely not an influencer. But secondly, by saying I'm an influencer, it opens up a kind of conduct and relationship style and tonality of conversation that I don't really want to be a part of because I'm for the people. I don't need YouTube to make money. I'm setting up infrastructure to be able to do that, but it doesn't take priority over the values that I want to bring to the people. It's way on the bottom of the list for me. And so I never want to get thrown into a category that influencers get thrown in with brands to have to look and sound a certain way and to conduct business on the same level as everybody else because I don't need it. And so I don't need that to influence what I bring to the table. And I don't even want those conversations to look and sound the same as how they talk to other people. I want it to be a natural progression. And so that requires being seen for the value first and the leverage last. If you're seen for leverage first, that's when the robotic kit starts rolling out for how brands treat you. And so that was my apprehension. I wish looking back, I would have said, no, I'm not an influencer, but I do have influence because that's more of how I see myself. And I don't think that that's a matter of semantics. I think that comes with a different type of energy, a different type of conversation and weight. And it's the type of conversation that most brands aren't really interested in until they know you have real leverage. Everybody's all for innovation and being for the people when they are being paid. So to generate something from nothing is not really a brand's interest unless they're at the same level as you. So, and it just made me think like all the relationships I've built have been authentic and genuine, even the network that I've created to this point, which is why so much love and value is exchanged before the leverage. But anyways, so I just thought I'd share that with you guys. Had an interesting time in the boutique, and it really was a moment that made me reconsider and reevaluate to make sure, like, why I do what I do and who am I serving. I'm not serving brands, I'm serving you guys, the people. Eventually, I will serve brands, and I would love to network and collaborate. But when I do, it will be done authentically. I was just thinking about PR, for instance. My PR comes from my subscribers. You guys send me all this stuff and tell me to talk about it. And so I have no string or allegiance to a brand. I can be completely authentic and genuine. At this point, I haven't gotten any PR. In theory, it's a little bit deeper of a conversation than that because I have received PR, but I've never had to sign a contract or speak in a certain way. But when I do, I was thinking I'm going to tell brands that basically, hey, I'm going to purchase the product and try the product. And if I see something that I'm passionate about, then we can talk business in terms of presenting that to my audience so that it's honest and comes from a real place. Excuse me. And that's why, like, even my relationship with Day 3, like, that's like family to me. But I purchase everything I get from there, and that allows me to have transparency. And they're just such great people. They would never do that, conduct a relationship in that way anyway. But I'm just telling you, like, that relationship was built organically from the ground up day one, and it was a product of a lot of micro connections that led to the type of relationship that we have. And you guys have seen me be very vocally transparent with every evaluation that I've had of that brand. But I have a certain way that I go about it. Anyways, just wanted to vent about that experience at the boutique. It made me reevaluate why I do what I do. And I think it's important that just when you think you have things figured out, it's always important to circle back and ask questions often to make sure that things haven't changed and you're still doing what you set out to do. And as this platform grows for me, that's super important because I don't want to grow out of the things that have been going well and have been serving you guys in the best light and have been growing me in the right way with the fragrance journey in terms of where I want to take it. So anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or even feedback to all that blabbing I've just did, sound off in the comments. You know I talk back, and hope you guys are having a great week, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.